Right, well, moving on now, Wednesdays here on the program, we'd like to put the spotlight on the farm women's group, Common Ground.
Common Ground is a group of farm women who want to be a resource for consumers who want to know more about how their food is grown. In this segment, we hear from Common Ground volunteer Leslie Boswell from the Shickley area on how livestock production is only responsible for 4% of greenhouse gas emissions.
We are talking about the livestock industry, and joining me now with more is Leslie Boswell. Leslie, it's good to see you today.
It's good to be with you, John.
We want to talk about how the livestock industry has been pinpointed as being a contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. What are you saying about that, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, they have been taking a lot of heat lately as being one of the major contributors to greenhouse gases. But according to an EPA survey that has just come out, the total agriculture is only responsible for 11% of all the greenhouse gases. And of that, livestock is only responsible for 4%. The big ones being industry, and the major one is transportation. That's the largest one there is. So livestock really is a very small percentage. Now, farmers have been aware of the issues with greenhouse gases for many years now, and they've been working very hard to try to mitigate their contribution to greenhouse gases by doing many things that we've already talked about on this program. One of them is using GMOs, which help make fewer trips across the field. So they're using less transportation, less fossil fuels that way. They're conserving water so that they don't have to pump as much. Cattle are mostly fed on grass. Some of them that are finished in feedlots, and that is on a grain and grass or hay feed ration, but yet the manure that they produce in those feedlots is then composted, which is another major greenhouse mitigation technique. On hogs, instead of using deep manure pits in their buildings, they're using a flush system, and that way methane gas does not build up in this flush system. So they're eliminating that.
What you'd want consumers to know is that agriculture, livestock really plays a small role in greenhouse gas emissions, according to documentation that you have, and that a lot is being done by producers to even reduce that further.
We are trying very hard to play our part in what we can control, which is our farming practices. And we're working very hard to make sure that we are doing it in the most sustainable and responsible way that we can.
All right, Leslie, thank you very much for that information. And you're coming back a little bit later with a recipe to share.
I am. You can throw it in the oven. It'll be ready in just a little bit.
All right, Leslie, we'll see you in a few minutes.